ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ప్రోగ్రామ్ అంతా ఇంగ్లీష్ లో నడుస్తుందండి ఇంకెప్పటి నుంచి. సో శ్రీ వెంకట్ గారు, నౌ యూ కెన్ టేక్ ఓవర్ అండ్ దెన్ స్టార్ట్.
Okay. So we'll go one padam at a time. We will repeat one padam 2 times and then we'll do 2 padams together and then the whole shloka. Okay. Vinashe bahavo doshaha visarga lopa जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः. विनाशे बहवो दोषाः
विनाशे बहवो दोषाः विनाशे बहवो दोषाः
जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति
जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति
तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि
तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि
ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः
ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः.
2 padams together. विनाशे बहवो दोषा जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति. When we bring this together, this dosha visarga goes away and can be chanted together without the visarga. विनाशे बहवो दोषा जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति
विनाशे बहवो दोषा जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति विनाशे बहवो दोषा जीवन भद्राणि पश्यति.
तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः
तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवित संगमः.
Okay, now I request Guru Garu to explain the meaning.
Now this shloka has got most famous quotation. That quotation is second charanam. Jeevan Bhadrani Pashyati, most famous quotation in the world with respect to life. Here, the total shloka is now a thought of Lord Hanuman. What was his condition so far? He searched everywhere for Sita Devi. Every square inch he searched, but he could not locate her. He made second attempt again. He had gone through all the houses of all the important persons of Lanka. Then also he could not locate. Then he was slipping into depression. In the depression condition, he has almost gone to the extreme condition of committing a suicide. Those things we have seen last week. Now this week, what is? Again he is rebouncing, coming back, getting back his energy, saying that, no, I should not commit suicide. Why should I commit? Why should I commit? Because by committing the suicide, what is going to happen? And by continuing to live, what is going to happen? He says, Vinashe bahavo doshaha. That is Vinashe means if I continue my suicidal attempt, there are several blunders are there. Bahavo dosha, several mistakes are there. Several things will be going in a wrong direction. No, that wrong things should not be allowed to be done. That is one thing. So he stopped thinking about the expiry or committing suicide. Then other side, Jeevan Bhadrani Pashyati. This is the most important quotation. Everybody should get by heart this part at least. By living, I'll be seeing the most sacred things in my life. Bhadrani means the most sacred things, most auspicious things. Definitely I will be going to see by continuing my life. Jivan Bhadrani Vashidi. So by committing suicide, several bad things are going to happen. By continuing to live, several good things are going to happen. Then which one I have to prefer? I have to prefer to continue to live. And then Tasmat Pranam Dharishyami. So definitely I would like to maintain my life. I would like to continue to live. Then what is there actually? What is that immediately you are going to get? Dhruvo Jivita Sangamaha. Yes, the important persons whom I am thinking of, I will be definitely going to meet them. Jivita Sangamaha, whomsoever you want to meet, you will be certain to meet. Dhruvaha. That is what actually he is trying to see. He was trying to locate Sita Devi. So he is confident by continuing to live, yes, I am going to achieve my ambition. That is locating Sita Devi. And also I will be able to go back to Kishkindha. I will be able to see my king, that is Sugriva. I will be able to see my Lord Sri Rama, Lakshmana, all these people. So I should continue to live. That is actually why we have selected this shloka is normally in our lives, several projects will be taking up. The projects, certain things will be beyond our control. They may be going wrong. Some people may be holding us responsible for the bad fall of the projects. In such a case, most of the people with weak mind may think, no, let us expire. Let us commit suicide. No, we should never have that thought at all. Whatever may be the depressing condition, time will solve. My resolve will solve. That type of courage you should get it. And why we have selected Harma? Because he succeeded in maintaining his life. This is most important. Jivan Bhadrani Pashyati. Tasmat Pranam Dharishyami. So I would like to continue to have my life. And then he is ambitious. Actually, he is hopeful of meeting his life ambition. Dhruvo Jivita Sangamaha. I am going to meet all the important persons during my future lifetime. This is most important for us psychologically. We should have that idea in our brains. Whatever may be the problems, whatever may be the depth of the problem or the dimension of the problem, we should never allow that thought of committing suicide or doing something else. So this is most important for our survival and for achieving our ambitions. Thank you, sir. Next shloka.
So with that, in all the message in mind, let us chant the whole shloka once again. Okay? Vinashe bahavo dosha jivan bhadrani pashyati tasmat pranan dharishyami dhruvo jivita sangamaha.
विनाशे बहवो दोषाः जीवन् भद्राणि पश्यति तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवितसङ्गमः विनाशे बहवो दोषा जीवन् भद्राणि पश्यति तस्मात् प्राणान् धरिष्यामि ध्रुवो जीवितसङ्गमः.
Good. Okay, we will go to the next shloka. Okay, so your tenacity is searching until you trace. Yavat Sitam hi pashyami Ramapatnim yashasvinim tavadetam purim lankam vichinomi punah Yavat Sitam hi pashyami
यावत् सीतां हि पश्यामि यावत् सीतां हि पश्यामि
Ramapatnim yashasvinim
रामपत्नीं यशस्विनीं
Tavadetam purim lankam
तावदेतां पुरीं लङ्काम्
विचिनोमि पुनः पुनः
विचिनोमि पुनः पुनः विचिनोमि पुनः पुनः
two padams together यावत् सीतां हि पश्यामि रामपत्नीं यशस्विनीम्
यावत् सीतां हि पश्यामि रामपत्नीं यशस्विनीं यावत् सीतां हि पश्यामि रामपत्नीं यशस्विनीं
तावदेतां पुरीं लङ्कां विचिनोमि पुनः पुनः
तावदेतां पुरीं लङ्कां विचिनोमि पुनः पुनः तावदेतां पुरीं लङ्कां विचिनोमि पुनः पुनः
Okay, now we listen to the meaning. You are on mute, sir.
Yes, sir. I admit it. Yeah, now you see, he has decided to continue to live. Now, what to do then? Just only living? No. What for I came here? To locate Sita Devi. What type of that lady? She is not an ordinary human being. She is having some extra unusual features with her. She is not born like any other human being. Here actually three words are used to describe Sita Devi. One is Sita, the word itself is there. Second word is Ramapatni is second one. Third one is Yashaswini. Normally, Valmiki Maharshi will never use a single syllable also without any purpose. Why he must have used three verbs, three terms for describing Sita Devi? You can see here, first of all, she is pure by birth. She is pure by birth. Sita, that is, who is born from the ground when Janaka Maharaja was trying to do a yajna. For the plough, actually, for the tip of the plough, a box is found, and therein Sita Devi was located originally. She is not born like any other human being. So she is very holy. She is very powerful. Unusual birth. That type of lady, what type of care I should take? I should use all my energies to search her. That is one thing. Then ultimately, whom she has wedded, whose wife she is. She is wife of Sri Rama. What type of person Sri Rama is? Actually, Hanuman describes Sri Rama in one unusual sentence description. Sri Rama can destroy all the 14 lokas with a single astra. With single astra, he can destroy all the 14 lokas. That type of destruction several people may do. Ravana is very popular for doing this kind of things. But the unique feature of Sri Rama is he can recreate all the destroyed objects again in the same original form. Whatever, suppose some destruction he has done, he can recreate it, all the 14 lokas, as they were before destruction, again he will get back. That is his capacity. And she is the wife of that great person. So what type of, the attempt I should make? Very, very serious attempt I should make. And then third attempt, it's not by birth, it's not by becoming the wife of somebody else, but by her own nature. Yashaswini. What type of fame she got? Normally, she is the daughter of an emperor. She is the daughter-in-law of an emperor. That type of lady, normally they should prefer to stay back in the Antapura. But she rejected all those things. She came along with the Sri Rama to forest, dense forest, where no regular food will be available. Regular beds will not be available. All types of problems will be there. But even then she preferred that to serve her husband. That is actually, that already got her a high name, high fame, she got it. She is so virtuous. So I should make all my attempts. So she is famous. She is wife of a would-be emperor. And she is the daughter of an emperor. There is no scope for me to take it easily. I should take it very seriously. So I will be going on searching again and again, till I locate her. Tavadetam purim lankam. That is, much till I succeed in locating her. Till that time, I will be searching. Vichinomi means I will be searching. Punah punaha, again and again. Already he made 2 times. No, that's not sufficient. Similarly, in our life also, suppose you want to become an IAS officer. It's good if you become first time, in the first attempt itself. Suppose you could not get it, because competition is very heavy. Number of students are running into several lakhs and millions also, and the number of seats are less. So if it is not first time, okay, second time. If not second time, again, till you get it. That type of motto, motivation, ambition, and attempt, serious attempt, that you should have it. So, vichinomi punah punaha, I will be continuing to search till I achieve my objective. This actually defines your life. This defines your life. This molds your life. This is most important in personality development. So actually, the selection of these shlokas are ultimately not for telling the story of Rama or Sita. No. It is to mold ourselves. What type of situations we may be facing in the life, and what type of decisions we should take at that time. Again, we should not think of as if it is the first time some problem is occurring. Already this kind of problems were experienced by several great people. They have given some directions. Just you remember those directions, we will be able to follow, and then we will be able to succeed. Definitely we are going to succeed. This is the purpose of having this kind of shlokas. Get by heart. Excellent. Thank you, sir. Proceed.
So we'll chant the whole shloka. Okay. Whenever we are chanting the whole shloka, remember the whole meaning, whatever the purpose of the shloka, and the summary of that. Okay.
Now, actually, wait one sentence, sir. Now you see, the next story today we are going to hear about one great person. That person had gone through all these problems. Much more worst problems also he has faced. But he became successful because his determination is so strong. That person actually we are hearing from Srihar Rao Garu after this shloka. Please proceed, sir. Venkat Garu. Please continue.
So whenever you have chanting the shlokas, remember the meaning of it. Okay, remember where it is applied also. Yavat Sitam hi pashyami Rama Patnim Yashasvinim Tavadetam Purim Lankam Vichinomi Punah Punah.
Yavat Sitam hi pashyami Ramapatnim yashasvinim Tavadetam purim lankam vichinomi punah punaha. Yavat Sitam hi pashyami Ramapatnim yashasvinim Tavadetam purim lankam vichinomi punah punaha.
Thank you, sir. Venkat Garu. Now, I invite Sri G. Srihar Rao Garu, former Executive Director of ECIL. ECIL means Electronics Corporation of India Limited. As I told you, he is a person whom I always revere in high esteem for the last 50 years. Not now, last 50 years. 1971 we met. Today 2021. 50 years of solidly completed, sir. I am fortunate to have him today among all of us. He's just to introduce him very briefly. Actually, whatever we say, still it will be less, but only to introduce few words I should say. He is a BSc originally. Then he went into engineering. He did his MTech, mechanical. Then he joined as a mechanical engineer. He joined Electronics Corporation. There's a contrast. How Electronics Corporation can have these mechanical engineers? He was afraid how to work in that kind of organization with the stalwarts like Dr. C. Kantan. Several great people were there. How to work? But actually, ultimately, he himself became very great by associating himself with great people. And he joined there as a technical officer trainee. He became technical officer 1, technical officer 2, technical manager, senior technical officer, manager. Then ultimately, executive director of Electronics Corporation of India Limited, and he was head of the department of several units also. And subsequently, after fortunate thing is, an interesting thing is, he joined there as a technical officer, and then he retired there as executive director. That is, all his service he spent in the construction and building up of this great organization, ECIL. Subsequently, he was invited as a professor at Institute of Public Enterprise, which is in the campus of Osmania University. And then he is advisor to several great companies. And now, presently, he is translating the great works of great people, both from English to Telugu and Telugu to English. Fortunately, one thing I should say, we both are again meeting after several decades. And the important event is, India is now going to celebrate. It has brought its first computer in 1971, sir, on March 31st. We have just completed 50 years. India has completed just 50 years of manufacturing the first computer. And he is one of the organizers of the entire event. Now I request Sri Srihari Rao garu to unmute himself and then make the presentation, sir. Sir, Venkat garu, you can go on showing the PowerPoint presentation slide by slide. Whenever he asks, you can continue, sir. Yes, sir.
Pranams to Sri Avadhanulu garu. Greetings to Venkat garu and other elders. My best wishes to all the children. I am so grateful to Sri Avadhanulu garu for giving me this opportunity to participate in this unique satsang. I am permitted to. The subject of today's talk, Dr. A.S. Rao, was referred to as Vasishtha Maharshi by people who were very intimate with him. Avadhanulu garu, if you know, Dr. Tata Rao, who was his best friend,
Yes, sir.
was called Vishwamitra,
Yes.
and A.S. Rao garu was called Vasishtha
Yes.
for reasons known to all of us. Dr. Rao professed to be non-religious, but as we have all seen, he worshipped God through men. Honestly, I was a very junior employee of ECIL when he was at the helm of affairs. So people like us
Great person.
had very few opportunities to meet the great man or interact with him. However, it was my good fortune that I was be of some service to him the last 5-6 years of his life. The nature of service I could render was that I was able to draft some of his speeches. Now, in today's program, I wish to narrate his life story for the benefit of the children here, who I suppose are not very familiar with Dr. Rao or his life story. In the photos that you will be seeing today, you will see not only Dr. Rao, some of the great national leaders of his time, and also great scientific personalities of his time. The photo you see is of Dr. A.S. Rao. He is a very tall personality, tall in several dimensions. He used to wear a white shirt and a white pant, wear a grey jacket and a red tie. That was his trademark. And in the computer building where we used to sit, he used to stride past us, giant steps, and all of us used to see him in awe and wonder. And people of our generation, I will include Dr. Avadhanulu garu here, our respect and regard for him honestly bordered on worship. In the slides that follow, I will try to narrate his story during his student phase and during his working career, several places. Next slide, please. See, I picked up this poem, a stanza from the poem, The Psalm of Life, written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, an American writer of and he wrote this in 1838. I picked it up because this poem, which runs into 9 stanzas, essentially drives home the truths that our own Bhagavad Gita has taught us. It tells us the purpose of our life. It tells us that we need to work hard. It tells us that we need to work without worrying about the future and grieving about the past. And it tells us to have the patience about the result that may come or may not come. As Naudalgar was saying a little while ago, the benefit of the children, I want to say, be a great opportunity to meet great people. And these days, I know it is very difficult. The next best alternative is to hear about the great people who met these great people. And lastly, we can read about the great. Take it from me, our lives will be truly benefited and will be truly blessed. It's about the 2 book covers. See, there are several articles written about Dr. Rao in various papers and also journals. There is no official biography because neither he allowed a biography to be written, nor he recounted his reminiscences for his own reasons. You see 2 books here. The one which is called a tribute was compiled by me when I was in service at ECA. The other book, A.S. Rao, that is Scientist, Missionary and Humanist, compiled because of the initiative of Dr. E.V.R. Rao, a senior colleague of Dr. Rao. They have taken great pains to put together this book. It's actually a second edition, an enlarged edition. Now, what you will get from these 2 are glimpses of his life, some of his writings, the works that he has done, and the reminiscences of his colleagues and admirers. The children, they may be too young now to go through this book. But if an opportunity arises in later years, they will do well to go through this book. Next. Now you are seeing here the ancestral home of Dr. A.S. And if you are able to read it, fine. Otherwise, I will read it. This is a paragraph which I have picked up from one of his articles that he has written for the National Conference of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers way back in 1990. I think we can see from this para the pain that he has undergone. As for myself, I had to wage a titanic struggle during my early years to overcome poverty's debilitating effect and succeed in achieving what I am. When I recall those days, I shudder to think of the number of promising children in this country who never got an opportunity to either educate themselves or, for that matter, then eat properly. This was his anguish. And this probably is the reason why he was always for the less privileged sections of society. Throughout his career, both at BRC and AET and also at EC. Time permits, I will share some personal anecdotes with him in this aspect. Now this is where I think it will be appropriate. Please go back. Please go back. Now the student face of Dr. A.S. Rao, I think will be more apt, will be really apt for the audience that we have today. A heart-rending story truly touches us. Now he was born in a poor family. He had 2 elder brothers who could study only up to SSLC. And after Sri Rao completed his primary education in their native village, Mogali. The family did not have the wherewithal for him to go for higher education. However, his urge for higher education was enormous. And what his life really teaches us is that great people are not swept away by difficulties, but they fight all the odds to reach their targeted goals. And certainly, God helps those who help themselves. One individual can achieve wonders when he is purposeful and sincere and selfless. And recognition comes unasked on its own. We do not have to work for it. This is what we can learn from the essence of his life, in my opinion. Now, after this primary education was completed, his place, it seems, was 7 kilometers from Bhimavaram, a town of Andhra Pradesh, and about 12 kilometers from Tanuku, which is another town. So, when he practically despaired of persecuting higher education, a gentleman from Tanuku offered him a shelter and 1 meal per day. With that help, it was providential, he was able to complete his studies up to SSLC. Then later on, he went to Vijayanagaram for studying intermediate. Now there again, the hand of God touched him. The Maharaja of Vijayanagaram has instituted a chowdhury which offered free food to deserving children studying in the M.R. Maharaja's College. He joined there, and now this is something which is first hand, because Dr. Rao told me this himself. It seems when he was taking his final examinations in intermediate, after taking 1 or 2 exams, the examiner, the invigilator, or some of the senior faculty members came to him and touched him on his shoulder and said, if you do not pay the examination fees by tomorrow, you will not be allowed to appear for the exams. Now that is a shocking thing for a young student. So it seems after the exam was over that day, he went to what is called Gantastambam in Vijayanagaram, that is something like a bell tower, and he begged there. And because of his begging, he was able to muster about ₹1.50 or ₹1.25. And it seems balance money he was able to get from a friend of his, and he was able to pay the required fees, continue with the exams. That's at every step he was helped, but he really struggled and suffered. Then after the intermediate was over, the family members and also family friends encouraged him to go for his graduation, and he was sent to Banaras Hindu University, where he studied first BSc and then MSc. The same story again repeated at BHU. When he was appearing for the first year BSc exam, again he was prevented from completing the exam because he could not pay the fees. Now, Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya, the chairman of BHU, was kind enough to give him an exemption to continue his examinations with the proviso that he will fulfill the needed obligations by next year. The next year also, the same situation prevailed, he could not pay the fees. Pandit Malaviya again gave him a waiver to appear for the second year exam. But for third year, he could not give the permission again. So a situation arose when he had to discontinue his studies and return to his hometown in severe grief. Many letters were written to his house, but they were helpless because they did not have the means themselves. Therefore, finally, in despair, Dr. Rao sent a telegram saying that I am returning home without writing. It was a bolt from the blue for the family members. And his elder brother, and the touching thing here is, it seems all this correspondence was known to that village postmaster, a gentleman called Venkatramaya, who used to give these letters to the family. So he came to know about the grave situation, and he and his elder brother traveled on a bicycle in pouring rain to a place called Attili, which was close by, to send a telegram to Dr. Rao to say that he should not come back and money follows. The telegram was sent to that effect. And it seems what was done is Mr. Venkatramaya's wife, coming to know of these developments, sold off her gold chain, which fetched him, that's some, I don't know, maybe 120 rupees. And that money was sent to Dr. Rao to pay his examination fees. That is how he could complete his BSc with great academic honors. After BSc, his urge for higher education was such that he continued with his MSc, and by the year 1939, he could complete his master's program in sciences with distinction, and he was able to secure a job like called a demonstrator, which is like a lab assistant. I think he functioned also as a lecturer in Banaras Hindu University. And once he got that position, the financial strain on the family was eased a bit. Since he continued in BHU for a few years, maybe another 4 or 5 years, in these positions of demonstrator or lecturer. And he was able to get a seat in the Stanford University based on a recommendation made by Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who was then the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University. Those days, these recommendations of eminent people, wonders. Stanford University, as you know, is a prestigious university, and everybody only dreams, but nobody can, very few can get into there. Now, regarding money, Dr. Rao approached the great J.N. Tata Endowment for Education, and he met one Mrs. Piroza, and seeing the sincerity of the student, they granted him a loan cum grant monetary facility. And unfortunately, since it was Second World War time, that was 1944 or thereabouts, his departure to US was delayed by about 9 months. But notwithstanding the delay, he could go to Stanford. He obtained an engineering degree in electrical engineering, and he was a class fellow there of David Packard of the Hewlett Packard. And Dr. Rao says, his stint at Stanford sharpened his academic and research skills. Further, it also broadened his vision. And since he saw some truly great people, he understood what it takes to be a great man. And he returned to India with a degree in his hand. And he went to Mrs. Piroza, the endowment lady, the director of the Tata Endowment Board, apparently to thank her for the help that he received. That lady was greatly impressed with this man's sincerity and his performance in the university and his gesture of coming back to the motherland, to serve the motherland with whatever knowledge he acquired. So she made a suggestion that he should go and meet Dr. Homi Bhabha. So this was a historical event which not only had a great bearing on the life of Dr. Rao, but also on the whole scientific history of our nation. It was a historic event, really. So Dr. Rao, on his return from Stanford, went to Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, which is normally called Tata Institute. That is where, sir, go to the next slide with Viram. So here you see Dr. Rao working with the great C.V. Raman on the cosmic ray studies there. Dr. C.V. Raman, as most of you know, is a Nobel laureate for his work on optics, acoustics, and Dr. Rao, C.V. Raman was then, I think, the director of IISc. And incidentally, at the same time, Dr. Bhabha returned from Cambridge because apparently for a small vacation, but he had to stay back in India because of the Second World War situation. So he also joined Indian Institute of Science to work again in the cosmic. Now the great accident that took place is Dr. Rao helped Dr. Bhabha in his research work by building instrumentation which greatly helped him. And seeing the diligence, dedication, and the efficiency of the instrumentation, Dr. Bhabha offered him fellowship in TIFR, which is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research located in Bombay, which he himself was instrumental in the setting up. Thus, he wrote to the Dr. Dorab Tata Trust that we need to have a world-class research center where research in mathematics, physics, nuclear sciences, and electronic instrumentation carried out. And because of the work that he personally has seen, Bhabha incidentally is about 5 years older than Dr. Rao. But for Dr. Rao, he was everything. He was a demigod for him and who shaped his future. So he took that offer, went to Bombay, and the instrumentation that Dr. Rao developed was so good that they got consistently accurate results, much better than the results obtained by great renowned people like Professor Millikan. So because of this achievement of Dr. Rao, he was offered a readership, TIFR. No, but for continuing his work in cosmic rays, he had to travel to places like Bangalore and Kashmir too often, and that was kind of taxing on him physically and otherwise. Seeing the frustration in Dr. Rao, Dr. Bhabha offered him a position in the then emerging Department of Atomic. Thus, Dr. Bhabha again wrote to Dorab Tata Trust that nuclear energy is the energy of the future for our country. And therefore, rigorous research should be carried out in that field. And he put together a band of people. That band consisted of Dr. A.S. Rao, Dr. N.V. Prasad, Dr. Raja Ramanna, and Dr. Setna, who worked in different disciplines, whereas Dr. Rao worked in the. So thus, he entered the portals of the Department of Atomic Energy. And at that time, a committee called Atomic Energy Committee was formed, which consisted of Dr. Bhabha as chairperson and Professor Bhatnagar and others, which later got merged into the Atomic Energy Commission. So their first adventure of this team is to construct the Apsara reactor. Can you go there? The Apsara reactor. This is Dr. Rao assisting Dr. Baba in the cosmic rays. The next slide, please. So this is the cradle of the Apsara reactor. So you see Dr. Rao sitting on the right side, left side, and Dr. Baba explaining the design features of Apsara reactor. It's meant to be a swimming pool reactor. And the story goes that the British Atomic Energy authorities offered to give the entire reactor to India. But this was in the year 1954 or 55. But Dr. Baba refused to take the entire reactor. He only accepted enriched uranium from the British authorities, and he decided that we will build the reactor on our own. And this team, which I kind of mentioned a little while ago, succeeded in building the Apsara reactor. It went critical in 1956, just 12 months after the project commenced, and they went mad with its success. So you see the next photo. You see the team in this group photograph, and you see Dr. Baba sitting in the center, Dr. A.S. Rao sitting on the right side, Dr. N.V. Prasad sitting on the left side, Dr. Raja Ramanna sitting besides N.V. Prasad, and truly Dr. Rao was the right-hand person of Dr. Baba. Now, the moment the reactor went critical, here is I'll take 1 minute for a small digression. The reactor did not become critical when they hoped that it would become critical. And then it seems N.V. Prasad suggested a slight movement of the control rod, which did the trick, and the reactor became critical. In fact, it seems they all suspected the quality of the uranium supplied to them. So Dr. Baba immediately informed Pandit Nehru. Pandit Nehru informed the whole parliament about the success of his atomic experiments. Now, all the instrumentation required for this program, the electronic instrumentation and the control systems, were designed, developed, fabricated, and supplied by the electronics group headed by Dr. Rao.
Here, కొంచెం speed up చేయండి.
Okay. So anyway, I think for the benefit of the children, I really wanted to highlight the struggle that he has gone through and the success he achieved by the efforts that he has put. The rest, I think they may be too young to understand really the intricacies of the electronics program or the atomic energy program. Like I'll just flip through. These are the national leaders, Dr. Rajendra Prasad and Mr. B.D. Jetty. You can. Pandit Nehru at the AET. AET is Atomic Energy Establishment, Bombay. This is Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant, who was the Home Minister of the country. Next, please. This is Neil Bohr, the scientist from Denmark, who was a Nobel laureate and who was known for his theories of atomic structures. Prince Philip, when he visited Atomic Energy Establishment. Next, please. Lal Bahadur Shastri, technically the third Prime Minister, but really the second Prime Minister of the country. Next, please. Mrs. Gandhi. Now, this marked the event when Atomic Energy Establishment AET was renamed as BARC in honor of Dr. Baba. It is called Baba Atomic Research Center. The person you see on the left is Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who became the next chairman of the Atomic. Now, what happened was, when all this instrumentation work was going on in the AET, the capacity developed was far more than what was actually needed for the programs they had on. And then, as most of us know, the 1962 Chinese War left us with very bitter experiences. Therefore, a committee was formed, which was then called Dr. Baba Committee Report, Dr. Baba Committee, which had Dr. Rao as a member, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai as a member, and Dr. Suri Bhagavantam as a member, to outline and chalk out a program for the country for the next decade regarding what the country requires in the field of electronics for becoming self-sufficient and self-reliant in this very strategic field. One of the fallouts of the committee's report is the creation of ECI. Now, in this photograph, you see the first board of ECI. You see Chairman Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, you see Dr. Setna, you see Dr. A.S. Rao, you see Dr. N.B. Prasad, you see Ravi Mathai, who was the director of Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and Dr. Ramprakash, the renowned metallurgist, who was associated with VSSC, and then Midhani, and so on and so forth, in addition to AET. So this is a historic first board meeting photograph, which was given to us by the first secretary of ECI. Next, please. Now, ESIL has become a real, a wonder, because this is a company which was set up without any foreign collaboration, whereas even radios were made with foreign collaboration. So the great Dr. J.R.D. Tata himself came to visit ECL. You see him here. And the person next to him is Dr. Srikantan, whom we can call as the father of Indian computer industry. Yoganal Garu knows him well. The person next to him is Vijay, who was our general manager. Next, please. Now, as a man and a manager, I'll be very brief. As a man, he was a very human person. He had genuine concern for his fellow beings. As a manager, he took interest, but never interfered. He gave his advice or help only when asked. Otherwise, he left people to themselves to find out the solutions. The so-called SBU concept that we read today was practiced by him intuitively in those days. Next, please. He was highly decorated. Now, this is the Padma Shri Award he received in 1960. Next, please. Andhra University gave him the honorary doctorate. Next, please. In 1969. This is the Shantaswarup Bhatnagar Award, a prestigious award given by CSIR for eminent people of science and technology in 1969. This is Padma Bhushan, which he received in 1972. And then the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 1977, by Morarji Desai, who was then, I think, the Prime Minister of the country. Next, please. Now, these are, of course, some product streams of ECL. The starred parts are no longer in existence, they are discontinued for a variety of reasons. From this, you can skip. Next, please. Now, on the first Vardhanti of Dr. Rao, ECIL has put up his statue in the company, and all the who and who of the atomic energy attended this function. That is all I have to tell you. The lasting institution that the employees set up is the A.S. Rao Nagar in his name. And the simplicity of the man is he refused to take a plot in there or car offered by ECIL on his retirement. That was his greatness. That was his. But he is in our hearts all the time, and he will have hearts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Srihar. Very nice. Excellent presentation. Certain things we also do not know, though he lived when he was the chairman managing director of ECL, because only at top level people only will be knowing, and the people who move along with him only subsequently they could know all those things. Thank you, Srihar, again for accepting our invitation and joining and then blessing our children.
My thanks. My thanks.
Nice of
All
you.
the best.
Thank you.
All the- Thank you.
Now, Bhaskar Garu, are you ready?
Today we are going to see Nikilam multiplication method. I hope you understood the concept of Nikilam Navataha Charaman Dastaha, which we have discussed in the last session. Once again, for first 5 minutes, let us do the recap of last session, and then we will continue with the next concept. For Nikilam Navataha Charaman Dastaha, meaning is subtract every digit from 9 and last digit from 10. When to use to subtract a number from base numbers. For example, if we have to find 1000 minus 365, if you do it in a normal subtraction method, you have to take more borrows, and it is a little tedious process. Nikilam Navataha Charaman Dastaha, in this process, without any borrows, we can do the subtraction. This is normal process, and in Nikilam Navataha Charaman Dastaha, we will be doing and one more advantage in Nikilam Navataha Charaman Dastaha is you can do the subtraction from left to right or right to left. Normally, in normal subtraction, we have to do subtraction from right to left only. But in Nikilam Navataha Charaman Dastaha, we can subtract from left to right or right to left. Here 9 minus 3, 6, 9 minus 6, 3, and 10 minus 5, 5. If you do it in normal subtraction, you have to take 3 borrows. 3 times you have to borrow from left side number, left side digit. Okay. Hope you have recalled the last session concepts, and I am giving you, just for warm up, I am giving you a few. Please ping me in the chat box. Please ping me in the chat box. Everyone has to respond. I'm observing the chat box. Okay. Observe the digits carefully. I have given 10,000, 4 zeros. Somebody is pinging 1 lakh minus something. I have given 4 zeros, 10,000 only. I didn't give 1 lakh. Observe the number of zeros carefully. Okay. Yeah, the answer is 7655. It will be like 9 minus 2, 7. 9 minus 3, 6. 9 minus 4, 5. 10 minus 5, 5. 7, 6, 5, 5. Answer is 7, 6, 5, 5. 7, 6, 5, 5. Okay. Answer is 7, 6, 5, 5. 10,000 minus 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, 6, 5, 5. Okay. The advantage of this method is you can do from left to right or right to left. No change. And you will not get any borrows. You need not take any borrows from the left side position. So it will reduce our burden. In normal subtraction, you have to borrow from the left side digit. But in this, no need to take any borrows. Okay. Now, next multiplication method is Nikilam. I am writing in English also. Nikilam. 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 Meaning complement or complement of a number. Okay, complement of a number. When to use? To multiply two numbers. If at least one number is closer to base number. Okay, base number. To multiply two numbers, if at least one number is closer to base number. Okay. In this, there are three cases. Today, let us discuss only one case. Both the numbers are above base number. And case 2 is both the numbers are below base number. And case 3 is one number is above base number and one number is below base number. Today, let us discuss only one thing. No need to hurry. We will discuss the remaining things in the next session. Okay. To multiply two numbers, if at least one number is closer to base number. Already you know what is base number mean. Base number means except the leftmost digit, remaining all are zeros. Leftmost digit is 1, remaining all digits are zeros. That means 1, 10, 100. Examples of base numbers. 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, Okay. There is no limit. We can go up to infinity, but we are limiting ourselves up to here. 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakhs, 1 crore, 10 crore, 100 crore, 1000 crore, and so on. Okay. Now, how to do this multiplication? The process or procedure, just learn. Case 1. If both numbers are greater than base number. Both numbers are greater than base number. That means you have to multiply like 102 into 103.
We can't see the screen.
Can't see? Yes. Now? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. 102 into, for example, if you have to multiply 102 into 103. Okay. Here, base number means, in this case, always nearest lower base number. 10 is also a base number, 100 is also a base number, 1 is also a base number. Among these three, which one you need to select? Please ping me in chat box. Nearest higher base number and nearest lower base number in this scenario, or nearest lower or nearest higher, we have to choose. In this case, both numbers are greater than base number, we told. So nearest lower base number. Okay, 100. Thank you. First we need to identify which base number we should take. That means among 1, 10 and 100, which base number you will select? 100. Okay, clear. That point is clear, right? So base equal to 100. Now you write those two numbers along with how much greater than the base number. That means 102, how much greater than the base number? How much more it is than the base number? Yeah, very good. Write down that one. 2. Okay. Next, 103. How much more it is than base number? Please ping. Okay, you identified, right? That's fine. 103 is 3 more than the base number. Very good. Now you have to do cross addition and vertical multiplication. That means you have to add crosswise this one or this one. You can add. If you add in any direction, you are getting same number. 102 plus 3, 105. 103 plus 2, 105. Any direction it is 105 only. Take only one. Any one you have to consider. Don't consider both. One is enough. And then you are done, right? I am writing R condition. Please watch it carefully. 102 plus 3 R. I kept R condition. That means consider either 102 plus 3 or 103 plus 2. Anything is okay, but consider only one. And multiply it with the base number. What is the base we have considered? 100. Okay, and then multiply the complements. Multiply the complements and add it here. That means it is either consider 102 plus 3 or 103 plus 2. Any direction is okay. Cross addition, that means 105 and consider it. You multiply in any direction into 100 into base number plus 2 into 3, 6. Now 105 into 100 plus 6, 10500 plus 6 is equals to 10506. Here, identification of base number is critical. You have to choose always either nearest higher base or nearest lower base. Whichever is closer, you have to choose that one. Okay. 10506. Using this, I have taken 102 into 103. You do exercise sum 12 into 13. You do 12 into 13. In this case, in this sum, what is the base number you have to consider? Please ping. Please ping me only what base number you have to consider. Don't ping me the final answer. I know few people can do that. Okay, good. Now you do the sum. First I have shown you 102 into 103. Now I ask you to do 12 into 3. Okay, you people ping the answer. That answer is correct only. I am taking 12 into 13. Next, base number is base equal to 10. Twelve means how much greater than base number is greater than 2 greater than base number 13. See? Now cross addition. This direction is okay. 12 plus 3 is 15, or this direction. 13 plus 2. Any direction, it is okay. That is 15. 12 plus 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 15, or 13 plus 2 equal to 15. Into base number means here in this case base number is 10, and 2 into 3. Now 12 into 13, 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 into 10, 150 plus 6. 150 plus 6 equal to 156. Okay. So with the help of this technique, you can do 12 into 13 and all those tables. Means greater than 10, 12 into 13, 13 into 14, 14 into 15. All those numbers you can do with the help of this technique. Okay. Next, I'm giving a sum. You have to do. Just do. First, I'll ask what is the base number. Please answer for that. After that, you ping the final result. Question is 1004 into 1007. What is the base number? Remaining people, I should get the answer from everyone. If you are not pinging, means you are not attentive in the class. You are not listening. Please respond. Okay. After the class, we will verify chat and we will identify who are pinging and who are not pinging. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Now you do the final sum and tell me the answer. Ping me one time. Don't ping multiple number of times and don't spam the chat box. Okay. Once enough. One person, one time is enough for one question. Okay. Yeah, great. So with this phase, let us learn this concept in a 3 weeks. Means today we are learning both the numbers are greater than base number. Next week we will be learning both the numbers are less than base number. And next week, along with the practice, within this 30 minutes, we are learning the new concept. We are learning the new concept and we are practicing and we are recapping the last session concept also. Okay, last session concept also. So next question, get ready. What is the base number? All of you, please think. What is the base number you are going to consider for this sum? Okay. Good. Now you start doing the sum and tell me the answer. Good. Yeah. I'm verifying everyone's answer. Don't worry. Please ping everyone. Okay. Now let us do one more sum. This is involving Please do this sum. What is the base number here? After 1, how many zeros are there in your base number? Just ping that number of zeros after 1 in your base number. Good. Good. Now you do the sum. Carry on. Do the sum. Very good. Kartikeya, ping once. That is enough. Don't ping 4 times or 5 times. Yeah, my correct. Rajeshwari somewhere went wrong. Starting digits. Just check. Sai Srujan correct. Kartikeya Kalaga correct. Srihari something. Yeah. 0. Yeah, correct. 10011 0020. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Sankalp correct. Narayani correct. Rajeshwari correct. Praveen correct. Aimavati correct. Okay. Srikruti correct. Correct. Okay. Now you do 16 into 14. 16 into 14. What is the base number in this scenario? Yeah, good. Okay. Answer 160 for someone pinged, it is wrong. Yeah. 224 is correct. Answer 224 is correct. Yeah, here base number is 10. Base is 10. Now you just check. If you add in any direction, it will give 20, either crosswise. This direction or this direction. 16 plus 4 equal to 20, 14 plus 6 equal to 20, and into base number. So I am just taking a single one, 16 plus 4 into base plus 6 into 4 equal to 20 into 10 plus 24 equal to 200 plus 24 is equal to 224. Okay. And for next week homework, please note down. Please come up with solutions next week. Okay. Don't do it now. Don't ping me in chat box. I'm telling you, do it before you come to the next class. That means on Sunday you can, on Saturday night you can do and come up with answers. Like note down. I will be giving 10 sums. 102 into 107 112 into 118 108 into 108 into 107. Next, first one, 14 into 19. 17 into 12. And then sixth one, 1004 into 1012. 1009 into 1021. And 10,004 into 10,008. 1 lakh 6 into 1 lakh 7. 1 lakh 9 into 1 lakh 12. So all of you, please do this and come. Don't ping me the answers now. Okay. This is for your warm up to the next session. So you should be completing just before, that means on Saturday class means you can complete on or before Friday night. Okay. That's all for today. Venkat garu, you can take over.
So, thank you, Bhaskar garu. Excellent.
Dhanyawadalu.
So today, have you attended to Dr. A.S. Rao garu presentation? Lamida, Susera? I think.
Listen, sir.
So inspiring. A person from an ordinary family shaping today, if at all, the whole world is recognizing that India is the leader in the software. That is because of the contribution of Dr. A.S. Rao. Please note it. Just whole country is indebted to Dr. A.S. Rao. He could imagine, he can foresee the significance of computers in 1967 itself. 1967. That is about 54 years back. Then he started the computer company, computer department. I remember wonderful thing about computers in India is in Sanat Nagar, ECL was started. Sanat Nagar was the place where ECL was started, a Dabba room, before ECL was constructed. I went there at that time. In 1969, I visited Sanat Nagar Computer Center of ECL.
Today I visited Sanat Nagar. Today I visited Sanat Nagar.
Okay. So next 50 years, what is going to happen that you have to tell us? So another important thing may come out. We wish. But within 50 years, India has, how much development India has registered. That is because of the vision of Dr. A.S. Rao. 1970 to 74, he held a meeting in ECL. I was an employee at that time in ECL. How many computers are there in Hyderabad at that time? Somebody asked. He himself asked others. By that time, maximum 12 computers were there in Hyderabad. Maximum 12. Only 12 computers were there in entire Hyderabad. Then he was asking, how many computers do you expect in Hyderabad after 10 years? Or after 20 years? Can you imagine, he was asking? If not 12, we may have 100. If not 100, 200 computers. But somebody gave an idea. Minimum 13,000 computers I am expecting, sir, in Hyderabad, he told. Everybody laughed. Because where is 12 computers, where is 13,000 computers? Unimaginable figure, somebody has just jokingly gave it. But today, every house has got minimum the latest phones, which itself is a computer, advanced computer. In addition to laptop computers, lakhs of computers are now available in Hyderabad. And now most of the employees throughout the world, the leading software companies, they are headed by our Indians. That is wonder of the wonders. Now world cannot forget about India with respect to software. That is the contribution ECL has made, and that is the contribution Dr. A.S. Rao has made to country. You see at what stage, where he started, and where now today India is. Why we are telling all these stories to children is, the children also should become the visionaries. Visionaries. What type of system may come, that you should identify now itself. Try to work for it, not just imagination. Try to work for it. Component level, instrument level, the support level, maintenance level, all these things. Actually, he built up. Defense actually, today's defense is not because of the horses. Chituranga bala levi, Ratha Gaja, అలాంటివి లేవు ఇక్కడ. No elephants, no horses, no chariots. But we are having only electronic warfare. Without movement, without elephants, now we are fighting. Mahabharata war was the greatest war the world has witnessed. But today's war is a wonderful war. People are not visible. You can destroy enemies' installations. That is because of the electronics. That's why Dr. A.S. Rao was awarded with one thing called as Electronics Man of the Century. Electronics Man of the Century. That is the award he was given. So again, we make all our pronouns to Dr. A.S. Rao wherever he is. We seek his blessings, and we wish his blessings to all our children, so that they should become almost again like Dr. A.S. Rao's. Not one A.S. Rao, but A.S. Rao blessing all the children to become several hundred A.S. Rao's. We wish it, sir. And that is the summary of our message today. And we wish to take a leave. You know, sir, Venkatagaru, you have to say something?
I also, my association with ECIL is Mr. Premchand, if you know Premchand and Hanmantarao Garu. So yeah, so I worked very closely with both of them. So Premchand, as you know, he studied in Berkeley and came back to India and set up the Frontier Information System. So I worked very closely with them in 1990.
I see.
Yeah, so we have, that's what we have to take the inspiration from all such people who went outside the country, studied, got all the knowledge and came back and given back to the country. So that's what is the message to all the children. Wherever you are, get all the knowledge and then contribute back to the country. Do not forget your roots.
Very nice. Myself and Hanmantarao, we both were in the same project. And Premchand Garu was a senior to us. He was heading our unit, software unit, computer software unit. Nice of you, sir. So we take leave. Namaskaram, Ravana Garu. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. हरिः ओं तत्सद्ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु.